Hey guys, it's Licious Kid from ClimaxCombo, and we're back with another Leaks of the Week. Once again, very late, I know, and I do apologize, but this will cover February 1st to February 5th, so pretty much a month behind now. I deeply apologize, but you know, like I always say, I am really busy, but the following week I don't have much work, or it's a lot less than usual, so I will definitely try to catch up the next week because I think the leaks recently are very interesting. I'm really interested in new Log Horizon leaks, and definitely the new To Lovely Darkness leaks are very exciting as well. So I really, really do want to catch up. Hopefully, I really can do so this week. Hopefully, I don't get called in too many times because I get called in quite often. But anyways, enough of that. Anyways, we're continuing with Puyo. This is the final week for the Puyo booster and trial deck. Did come out on the 4th, so like I said, pretty much a month behind, and I do apologize. And also, we are continuing off with the Schoolgirl Strikers booster. I guess without much further ado, I guess we should get to it. If I sound different, don't be too surprised because I am a little sick, and so if I'm sniffling and sneezing, I apologize in advance. But anyways, let's get to it. So 2-1, 2K uncommon, Primp Magic Academy student Amitai, Puyo and Hat. First of all, it's a 2-5 backup, pay 1, 2-5 backup. However, when you use this backup, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Puyo character, add it to your hand, then discard a card. Very solid card, especially only for uncommon. It's pretty much exactly like the Leafa counter in SAO. And I'm sure we all know that Leafa counter is very good. Can really save your life. There's like no real downside to this card. It can really save your life. I guess I'll just go over it really quickly, but I'm sure we all know this. It's pretty much, for example, if you're like at 3-6 or something, your opponent attacks you for 1. Your fronts attack you for 1, I should say. You use the backup. You pay 1. Give your battling character plus 2/5 power. Reveal top. If that card is a Puyo character, you add it to your hand, then discard. Then the damage goes through, and then you reveal, and then you take damage. If it's a climax, you cancel. Really good. That pretty much saves your life and can help you win the game. So essentially, this card gives you a chance of digging one card deeper through your deck to find a way to cancel. Just like the Leafa backup, like I said, the Leafa backup is staple for a very good reason. This one, no exception. And of course, you do get a nice hand fix on the way. If you don't want to use it to save your life, maybe you have like too many of these in your hand, I don't know, you can use it to hand fix as well. So overall, for an uncommon, very, very good. Definitely, I can see this card being a staple card because it's just such a lifesaver. So yeah. Next up, we got this 1-0 5K uncommon Harpy. I think this is the first time we've seen this girl. Puyo and Angel. Auto, when your other Puyo characters declare an attack, this card gets plus 1k power until the end of the turn, so very generic, lots of cards like this. Nothing too special, to be honest. Pretty much can be 7k on offense, but pretty much 5k on defense. Can have some conflicting problems when you have multiple Harpies on the field because, not all of them can hit their full potential of 7k. Not the greatest card, but, it is only an uncommon, so for an uncommon, it's whatever, but, definitely, I'm sure you can run better cards than this. Next up, we got the 002k common Seriri, Puyo, and Mermaid. She has like 3 abilities, so first ability, Auto. This ability can only be activated once per turn. When your other Puyo characters are placed from your hand to your stage, this card gets plus 1k. Act ability, you can discard 1 climax from your hand. Until the end of the turn, this card gets plus 1k in the following ability. When this card reverses its opponent in battle, you may draw a card. So very similar to that girl from Little Busters, I think her name was Saya. Saya, really cool card. Seriri, I really like the idea behind this card because I really like that Saya card. I think she's really awesome. However, Seriri, very similar but not quite the same. The biggest difference is that Seriri is a level 0, and that makes it very difficult for her to kill anything sitting at a 2k base. Of course, her act ability and her auto ability does help her mitigate that, help her gain more power. But ultimately, in the end, it's just a little too weak. If you do get to kill something, it's really good. Essentially, the idea behind this card is that her second ability, her act ability, do keep in mind, is stackable. So let's say you have like 3 climaxes in your hand. You can play Seriri, discard those 3 climaxes from your hand. She'll get plus 3k power, so she'll be like 5k. Let's say you play another character right after her. Then she'll be 6k. If you kill something, her third auto ability does go off 3 times since you use 3 of her active abilities, so you get to draw 3 cards. So essentially, her ability is a very good way to discard climaxes from your hand and to draw cards at the same time. You pretty much break even, so it's like a free, good, costless hand fix. It is slow because you do have to attack with it, so you can't really use it. Like the cards you draw into, you can't use on the same turn, but it is free hand fix essentially. But of course, do keep in mind if she does not kill anything, then all the cards, then you don't get to draw any cards. So if you discard 3 climaxes, let's say same situation, she's 6k, you attack, you get backed up, she dies, you don't get to draw any cards, so you essentially discarded 3 cards for nothing. However, those are 3 climaxes, and that is pretty good in itself. However, you don't really want to be that far behind in hand size. You know what I mean? You definitely want to break even or get some benefit out of discarding your climaxes. So overall, in the end, I really like Sedidi. I really think she would have. I really like her as a card. If only she was level 1. It was just if she was like a 105k base, I think she would have been really awesome. But unfortunately, a 002k is just way too weak in my opinion. Yeah, she could hit. I guess she's always at least 3k. I shouldn't say always. I guess she can hit 3k base easily because of her first auto ability. But it being limited to once per turn does hinder the card because she's essentially only 3k base. And to get her any higher power, you have to kind of discard a lot of climaxes, and that might not always be possible. So ultimately, in the end, stick to better hand fixing cards. Sedidi, I really think she's awesome, but sadly, way too weak. So what can you do? Only a common though, so I think it's a really cool common, but alas, like I always say, I think you could be running better cards than this. Next up, more TD cards. We got 105k TD, Print Magic Academy Student Klug. I think this is the first time we saw this dude too. Puyo and Book. He combos with this gate right here. When this card declares an attack with the gate, you may pay cost, which is 1. If you do, choose one of your opponent's level 0 or lower character and send it to the owner's waiting room, and this card gets plus 2k power until the end of the turn. It's kind of okay. I guess you could target the back row with this because it's not limited. You could choose any of your opponent's level 0 or lower characters, send it to the waiting room, and you do get some power out of it. So essentially, he's 5k base. The climax does give him an additional 1k, so he's 6k. You pay 1, you pop something when he attacks, you get an additional 2k, so he's pretty much 8k with his climax combo, which isn't too bad, but ultimately in the end, once again, I think you could be running better climax combos. Like, popping a level 0 is very cool and all, but you do have to pay 1 in the process for this guy, which isn't very good. Yes, you get some additional power out of it, but I still don't really think it's worth it. 8k paying 1 for an 8k offense isn't really great either. And also, if your opponent is dependent on level 1 assists, maybe something like Love Live with their level 1 brainstorms. I'm not too sure if I should say that anymore, since the 00 Kira Sensation Rin is very popular, who's a level 0, but still, prime example, if you're playing as like a yellow or a green Love Live deck, a situation like that where where they're reliant on a level 1 assist, this card is no good. So essentially, for a trial deck card, I think he's pretty solid. The trial deck comes with gates, which is cool, and comes with a decent, okay-ish climax combo, but ultimately in the end, I would not advise this for your serious deck. On to the next day, we have this 2-1 4KR Momokawa Sasa, Striker and Lady. So what she does is she's a level assist in front, and she also climax combos with this stock 1 soul. So when the climax, this is my true power, which is a stock 1 soul, is played, you may pay cost, which is 1. If you do, choose 2 striker characters from your waiting room, return them to your hand, then discard a card. So you essentially break even. Also, she has another effect, auto, pretty interesting effect. When your opponent plays an event, and this card is in stand, you may pay cost, which is discard a striker, from your hand to the waiting room, and then place her to rest. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent. And of course, this damage can't be cancelled. Her combo is a climax common. So Sasa, very interesting. I think she's really cool, especially for an R. I think she's pretty awesome. So I guess let's go over her. Her first ability, very solid. Level assist, level assist is level assist, level assist, always much appreciated, so she is no exception. Her class combo is okay too. Pretty much you play the stock 1 soul, you gain the free stock, and then you pay 1 for her ability. So essentially the combo is costless. Also, you get to salvage 2 characters, but then you must discard a card in the process, so you do break even in hand size as well, because, you know, the Climax is a minus in hand size. So prime example, 6 cards in hand, you play the Climax, you're at 5, you salvage 2, so you're at 7, then you discard a card, you're back at 6, so you break even, which is really cool. And so it's not too bad. It's like, it's costless, and you break even, and it's not too shabby of a hand fix too, so I think that's pretty cool as well. Lastly, her third ability is fairly interesting as well. Definitely is dependent on the matchup. Of course, if your opponent plays no events, which, you know, many decks do not, decks don't always play events. Her third ability is pretty useless against decks that don't use events, but you know, there are many decks that use events. Some live decks use the events, of course. Love Wing Bell, the 2-1 event, the blue one. Of course, all anti-damage backup events are events, so Contai, Little Busters, Two Lovely Darkness, you know, are affected by it. If you're playing against Sinful Gear, of course, it does hinder them as well. And of course, how can I almost forgot how can I, Nisekoi can get hurt by this event, her third effect as well. So fairly interesting. Like I said, very dependent on the matchup, and I guess it also depends on what they're like, you know, how dependent on their back row. How dependent is Schoolgirl Strikers on tapping their back row? Like if they have a Brainstorm that's always tapping 2 cards in the back, then of course she isn't as cool, because if she has to be in stand to use her third ability, and do keep that in mind, because she has to be in stand, you can't really spam her ability. Like your opponent, you know, if your opponent plays 3 events for the turn, you can't burn them 3 times. You can only burn them once, unless you have 3 Momokawa Sasas for some whatever strange reason. Well, honestly, most of the time you'll probably only have 1 Sasa in the field. And if that's the case, you can usually only burn your opponent for 1 per turn, which still isn't too bad in itself, but still, do keep in mind, you can't like burn 1, burn 1, burn 1. You gotta be like burn 1, next turn, burn 1. You see what I mean? So you can't spam it, but I still think it's a pretty cool card. You know, it can, like, if your opponent's trying to anti-damage for the win, trying to save them, if they're like a 3-6, and they're trying to anti-damage, it'd be a pretty awesome way to kill your opponent with Sasa. I think that'd be really cool, but, you know, I'm sure your opponent will be aware of that. So overall, in the end, I think Sasa is really cool. Of course, her third effect, like I said, very dependent on the matchup, and also dependent on how dependent the set is as a whole in tapping their back row. If a lot of cards need you to tap your back row, then of course her third ability isn't as good. However, if they are not dependent on tapping their back row very often, and if their Brainstorm is like only tapping the Brainstormer itself, then of course her third effect does become more viable in the end. So overall, I think Sasa, like I said, fairly solid card all across the board. Level assist with a pretty solid climax combo and a pretty niche third ability. However, will Sasa make it into the cut of the Schoolgirl Strikers deck? I'm honestly not too sure. Mainly because, like, okay, her being a level assist is alright. Her climax combo, like I said, is pretty solid, but I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. You know, Schoolgirl Strikers being such a huge set, there will probably be a lot of climax combo options, and will Sasa's like make it into the cut out of so many climax combos they can choose from? I don't know, we'll just have to see. So that is also very dependent on it. And of course, like I said, her third effect, very dependent on the matchup. So her second and third effect is just kind of dependent, like, it's just very dependent on what else the set has to offer. I'm sure the set will bring better climax combos than Sasa's, and if you're not playing her climax combo, then she's not as good. A level assist with a very matchup dependent third effect, not that good. She's, you know, a lot better with her climax combo. So like I said, I think I really like Sasa as a card, but I honestly don't think she'll make it into the final builds. Just because, like I said, her third ability, matchup dependent. Her second ability, I do believe will be overshadowed by better climax combos down the line. So we'll just have to see. Next up, we got this girl, 2-1, 6k common, Procyon, Pudding, Kurimoto Haruka, Striker, and Sports. Continuous ability, if you have 4 more other red characters, you lose 1 level in your hand. Also experience, She has experience 3. She pretty much becomes a level 2 or lower suicider if you have experience 3. Haruka, I kind of like the idea behind this card. She's like a level 2 or lower suicider that can come out at level 1, which I think is pretty awesome. Says here you must have 4 or more other red characters. So seems like the set. I'm not too sure if I talked about this last video, but this pretty much shows that the set is pretty much going to be very color dependent or color based, just like Girlfriend Beta. However, this one, it's a little more spicy. It's got experience and the whole color mechanic, so pretty awesome. I really don't remember if I talked about that last video, but anyways, I'll just restate that again really quickly. Color dependent and experience based, I think seems pretty cool. Anyways, going on to Haruka, I like the idea behind it. A level 2 suicider that can come out at level 1 seems pretty awesome, especially nowadays that Bushiroad is pumping out a lot of cards that can come out at level 2. Or, I'm sorry, seems like Bushiroad is pumping out a lot of level 2 cards that can come out at level 1. A lot of sets kind of have this nowadays. I think like the new Abyssal Fleet Girls got them. CG. Some people run in with the Arena and the Miku. I know there's a lot more. I just can't think of it. Also, there's like level 1 characters that got +1 level now, so they're level 2, so they're resistant to level 1 suiciders. So they're kind of promoting that idea. It's not really that popular yet, but still, they're trying to make it a thing. And this Haruka is kind of cool. She kind of like, if that ever becomes really popular, then this Haruka is kind of cool because she can kill those level 2s that come out at level 1, and she can come out at level 1 herself. So I think that's kind of cool, but still, I don't think Haruka is that good. She's only only a common for a reason. She's not that awesome because do keep in mind she does cost 1 stock. Do keep in mind you must have 4 or more other red characters, so you need to have like a full field before you play her. And just most of the time, like I said, the level 2s coming out of level 1 isn't like, their Bushiroad is kind of like making cards to do that, but it's still not that popular. And because it's not that popular, she's not very good. Like, if you're gonna be killing level 1s with Haruka, it's really bad because you're paying 1 stock to kill level 1s. You're paying 1 stock to suicide into level 1s actually, which is really terrible. At that point, you're better off with level 1 suiciders. Costless level 1 suiciders, I should say. So, in the end, I like the Haruka's idea, but as of right now, I think she's pretty terrible. Doesn't really fit anywhere, so I advise you stray away from Haruka. Until maybe one day, we all play level 2s at level 1, and then Haruka will come and fuck us up. But until then, keep Haruka in your freaking box, cause not your deck box, your freaking storage box, cause she's no good. Next up, we got 1045 common, confident friend, Amane, striker and animal. Experience 2, she gets +1k, so she'll be 5/5 base. She has hand encore. Not too shabby, but honestly, I'm sure there'll be better cards than this. 5/5 hand encore doesn't really cut the cheese anymore. It's only common for a reason, so solid card, but there'll definitely be much better options. Especially now, we talked about last week. What's that girl's name? Sakusa? I don't remember. The first card we talked about last week, the 1/0 combos with the Wind Trigger. That's 5. She's pretty much 5/5, and when she kills something with the combo, you search. You already have something that sits at 5/5 that you're probably going to be running 4 of anyways. And if that's the case, there's no real point in this Amane, huh? Yet again, that's for yellow, and this is red. And, seems like since they're promoting this whole color-based deck, maybe you probably won't be running that card. We'll see. But still, I'm sure they'll get better. I'm sure they'll get better 1/0 beaters than this. But for a common, it's definitely not too shabby. 5/5, and with hand encore, not too bad at all. Maybe if you want to make a budget deck, or if you're like this Amane girl, she's honestly not too bad. But a little lackluster in today's standard. Next up, we got 00500 uncommon confidant friend Rinoda, striker and card game. Oh, so she's like she's a card gamer like us. Well, anyways. All of your other confidant friend Amane get +1k, so the first girl here, and she has a pay 1 bond for her as well. Oh, that's kind of a little better. Makes her 6/5, and you have a bond target for it. But still, Huh, that's definitely not too bad. Maybe you're trying to go budget or something. Or maybe red level 1s really suck. Maybe this could be a thing. But, this makes it a little better. But still, I'm sure red will have better things than this. Hopefully. Maybe. We'll see. But definitely for a pair of commons and uncommons, definitely not too bad at all. I must say, definitely not too bad. Next up, we got 1-0. 6-5 common Worried Itsumi, Striker, and Housework. If you have one or fewer characters in your clock, this card cannot declare an attack. Itsumi, not that great. 1065, very strong. However, if you have one or fewer cards in your clock, she cannot declare an attack. Her not being able to declare an attack really sucks, and you really don't want that. So, I'm sure just run more consistent 1-0 beaters than this. Like I said, only in common for a reason, so it's not going to be very good. So it's still early in the leagues for Schoolgirl Striker, so I'm sure red will get better beaters than these couple of R's or a couple of commons and uncommons. Girl, why are you opening your mouth under the water in the beach? That's not cool. That must be nasty. But anyways, on to more better red cards. We got 3295 double R, so the first double R for red. Kyobashi Amane, Striker and Animal. I'm pretty sure this is the first double R for red. Anyways, what she does. If you have 5 or fewer cards in your deck, this card loses 1 level in your hand, so she can't come out of level 2, which is always good. Auto, when this card is placed from hand to stage, you may return 1 Striker character from your waiting room to your hand, so she does salvage you. Or she does plus you on play. Lastly, auto, when this card declares an attack with the Climax Amane on stage, which is this gate right here, which is a Climax rare, to no surprise. You may deal X damage to your opponent, where X is the number of reverse characters your opponent controls. So man, what a blast from the past. Her Climax combo is just like the Asuka from Evangelion. And I'm sure we all know Eva, ancient set. It'd be really awesome if Eva got a comeback campaign, huh? But anyways, I always liked that Asuka Climax combo. I always thought it was really fun, and it's really devastating. Like if you have like 2 Asukas, one Asuka can burn for 1, and the other Asuka can burn for 2, and it's costless. I always thought that was really cool. But anyways, that's just me ranting. So I'm really happy that Asuka Climax combo came back. It's not Asuka herself. However, it's another redhead cutie, just like Asuka, and it's pretty much like Asuka's. But I do think Asuka, she combos with the 2K1. However, Amane does combo with the gate. Pros and cons to it. The gate does have a better trigger, and gives the 1 soul and all. But the 2K1 does help Asuka kill things, so that way her Climax combo can't go off. But anyways, I guess we'll go down the line for Amane. Like I said, can't come out at level 1. Can't come out at level 2, which is always really good. She can be 9-5. On play, she does salvage you, which is appreciated, especially in like the earlier level 2 stage of the game. Be able to salvage or being able to plus at level 2 or at any stage of the game is always appreciated. Of course, you can, and since her condition requires you to have 5 or fewer cards left in your deck, you'll have plenty of choices in your waiting room when you do play her at level 2 to get from your hand. And lastly, her third ability, like I said, just like Asuka's, I don't think it's the greatest Climax combo in today's standard. It's definitely no triple Yami. It's not like that, no bullshit like that. But still, it's not too shabby in my opinion. The combo is completely costless, and at most you can burn your opponent for 2, because do keep in mind her Climax combo is, or her third effect, the timing goes off on attack, and so when Amane attacks, of course don't attack with her first, because there'll be nothing to reverse. Most optimally you should attack with her lastly, because let's say you have Amane, and I don't know, let's say you got 2 Itsumis for whatever reason on your field. So Itsumi kills something, the second Itsumi kills something. Now your opponent has 2 reverse characters on their field. Lastly, Amane attacks. When she attacks, her Climax combo does go off, and then it'll burn them for 2, and then her damage will go through. Because of that, her Climax Combo does go past anti-damage because it's on attack. The timing goes through, and so you would attack. Her Climax Combo would go through, then they would back up, and then this is keeping in mind that this is during if you do play her at level 2. If you play her at level 2, they can't anti-damage her. But if you do Climax Combo for the turn, do keep in mind her Climax Combo goes through the anti-damage because the timing is on attack, which goes before your opponent gets to back up, which is really cool. Of course, you can change how much damage you want to do. Same thing if you have 3 Itsumis. If you want to burn your opponent for 1, of course you attack with the first Itsumi first, reverse your opponent's character, then attack with Amane, and now that your opponent has only 1 reverse character, then you can deal 1 to your opponent. So you can control how much damage you want to do with Amane, 2 max, or you could do 1. Of course, if you have 2 Amanes on the field and a third character, like you attack with Itsumi first, one of your opponent's character goes to reverse, your first Amane attacks, burns 1 to your opponent, then let's say she kills something, then your second Amane attack, which is your third character, burn 2, and etc, etc. I'm sure you guys can see what I mean at this point. So I really like Amane. I just really like the Asuka Climax Combo, to be honest. Might be a little biased, but still, overall, I think she's really awesome. I really like her. She's kind of cute too, and you can't go wrong with the little panty shot here. So I think she looks really cool too. So in the end, I really like Amane. I think the artwork is lovely. I like her as a card. Can come on a level 2, plus this new on play, and you get a costless game-ending ability that is nice at level 2, and of course is very scary. Not very scary, which is respectable at level 3, I should say. So, of course, her biggest downside, I would say, is her 9.5 base power, as opposed to Asuka's 10k base, and of course, Asuka heals. Healing, salvaging, pros and cons, but still, her 9.5 base might be a little difficult, might be a little weak at level 2. If you do decide to play her at level 2, do keep in mind of her slightly lower power than average. So that's probably the biggest downside to her. But still, she doesn't need that much power, because do keep in mind, she doesn't really have to reverse anything. Only the other characters have to reverse stuff for the Climax Combo to be live. So yeah, I guess another thing to note is that your opponent can somewhat play around her third effect with backups. A lot of anti-damage backups do require you to sacrifice one of your characters. So if you're trying to attack with 2 Amanes Climax combos, if you're trying to get the second one to burn for 3, your opponent can stop that by using the backup on the first Amane attack, killing off one of your reverse characters, and then now there's one less reverse character in your opponent's field for Amane to deal that much more damage. So do keep that in mind. Your opponent can play around this by killing off their own characters during your turn, and that way there's less reverse characters, and that way Amane burns less. But still, overall, I think I've ranted about Amane enough. Love it, love it, love it. I think she looks awesome. She's super cute, and her Climax Combo I just really like. So I like this card a lot. But is it the greatest card? Not too sure. We haven't seen all the other level 3 Schoolgirl Strikers red. Or I should say, we haven't seen all the other red Schoolgirl Striker cards this set has to offer. But I like it. I like it a lot. But I don't think it's the best card ever. I think it's very solid, though. I think it's good, I should say. I think it's good. Not solid. Good. Next up, we got 0025 Uncommon, Spending Time Leisurely, Sasa, Striker and Lady. When you have one or fewer other characters, the card has plus 1500 power. So if you have one or less other characters, she's a 004k. Very common, very solid. So, a decent level 0 red beater, especially for an uncommon. You can't complain. Next up, we got 0025 Common, Suntan Haruka. Ooh, never. A little suntan never hurts. Striker and Sports. Continuously, if you have no other characters on your center stage, this card gets plus 1500 power. So if she's the only card in your front row, she gets plus 15. So she's 4k, just like Sasa. But to be completely honest, out of these two, I would say Sasa is better, because usually having one or less other characters in your on your field is usually the case. So her being 4k is gonna probably happen most of the time, as opposed to Haruka, where she can only Haruka can be the only character in the front row, which isn't the greatest, because let's say your opponent has 2 front row characters on the field, you're trying to kill them both, but you can't, because if you play the other character in the front row, then Haruka's power will go lower. And people having 2 characters in their front row is very likely nowadays because of how many runners are coming out into all these new sets. So, do keep that in mind. I would say don't play Haruka. I really don't think there's any point to playing Haruka when you could just play Sasa instead. Next up, we got 00500 comment. Doesn't like the Heat Rinoda, striker and card game. So during your start of your opponent's draw phase, and this card is on your center stage, you may return this card to your hand. If you do, reveal your hand, then choose one level 0 or lower character amongst those cards and place it onto the original border of this card in rest. And she's a 1-0. She's a 1-0 backup, but she's a level 0 backup. So Rinoda, very, very, very interesting card. Very fitting that she has a very interesting effect because she is a card game trait. Anyways, level 0, 1k backups, very rare, very far and few in between of them. And if they actually exist, not everyone chooses to run them because they're usually very, their effects are very wonky. This one is no exception. I think this one's a little too wonky, to be completely honest. If she's in your front row, start your opponent's draw phase, you return her to your hand, then you show your opponent your entire hand, then you choose a level 0 or lower character amongst those in your hand, and you replace Rinoda. There's like no point to this card. You're pretty much showing your opponent your hand for free, for no reason, because all you get out of it is another level 0 or lower character in your hand, and you place it with Rinoda. Like, you could have just played the level 0 that you wanted to play originally on the field, and you don't have to show your hand. As opposed to Rinoda, where you have to show your hand, and she goes back to your hand, and then you play level 0. And it's like during the start, and the timing is at the start of your opponent's draw phase. If it was at the start of your opponent's attack phase, it could be a little cooler, because that way you can play like a stronger character in front of your opponent's level 0, and then your opponent might be forced to side attack. And if that was the case, then you keep your character around, which is really cool. But still, this is at the start of your opponent's draw phase, so that makes it a lot worse because your opponent can't prepare for whatever is coming to the field, and your opponent can't see your hand. If your opponent sees that you're lacking a lot of level 0s, your opponent can choose to keep you at 0-5, and if you're at 0-5 and you have no level 0s you can play from your hand, you draw, you clock, you draw 2. If you didn't draw any level 0s, you pretty much have to pass, and then that way your opponent can take full advantage of that next turn and try to push for a lot of damage and gain a lot of stock at the same time and build more hand size. So this Rinoda gives way too much information, and you don't really get any real benefit out of it except swag. And it's swag enough. I mean, yeah, if you're playing for fun, if you're just kicking it with your friends, why not? But still, or you really like this girl, but still, in a serious deck, definitely don't run this. It's hilarious, but don't run it. Maybe you can run it for BM at level 3, like maybe the set that gets anti-damage, and then you play your Rinoda, and then start your opponent's draw phase. You swap her out, you play another level 0. You show your opponent 3 anti-damage cards in your hand, and then they scoop. But still, they could side against this Rinoda to get around that. Or they could side against your level 0 that you replace with Rinoda to get around that. But still, just fun things you can do with it. But don't run it. Next up, we got 0025 common carrying type Itsumi, striker, and housework. When your other striker characters declare an attack, the card gets plus 1k power until the end of the turn. Not that great because, as we all know, level 0, you don't really swarm the field. And if you're not swarming the field, then she can't get her full potential of 4-5 attack. And if that's the case, she's pretty bad. And if that's the case, why even run this card? So don't bother. Next up, we got this interesting bird, 002KR Ho Ho Bird, Puyo and Hero. Auto, when this card reverses its opponent in battle, and if you have 3 or more cards in your clock, choose one of your other characters, place it to rest, and move it onto an empty border on your backstage. He has Accelerate. Man, how long has it been since we've seen this damn Accelerate ability? The last one I can think of was that Glasses guy from Charlotte, and he didn't end up being very good. Man, this Accelerate mechanic is so weak. Anyways, actually, the Liz one from SAO is okay. Anyways, let's not talk about that. Accelerate. Clock yourself. During the start of your climax phase, you may pay cost, which is, of course, clock yourself, and he gets plus 2/5 power until the end of the turn. Kind of cool. Accelerating at level 0 is kind of cool because it does help you push to level 1 faster. But still, I don't really think that's necessary, especially because of the fact this set does have a runner. But anyways, when he kills something, you have 3 more clock, which can be easily achieved because, of course, at level 0, you're going to be clocking yourself once every turn. And do keep in mind, you're probably going to accelerate with this bird. And if you are, you're going to probably hit 3 clock fairly quickly. You choose, and if you kill something, you choose one character on your field, put it to the backstage of your border in rest. Very fitting because he pretty much saves a character. The idea behind this bird is that you choose a character in reverse in your front row, you put it to your backstage in rest. Because it's in rest, it doesn't have to go to the waiting room at the start of your encore phase, so it does essentially save a character if you do kill something with this bird. Very fitting because he's a hero, but still, alas, I don't think he's good enough. 2k base, unless you do accelerate, which is not bad at level 0, but still, he scales very poorly. He scales very poorly into the early mid to the late stage of the game, because do keep in mind you have to put something in your front row to the back row. If your back row's filled up, you can't use his ability, and he's 2k base. You're not gonna accelerate for him at level 1. I mean, you could, but it's probably not gonna happen very often. Just scales very poorly into the mid to late stages of the game. Late stages of the game, he has pretty much no utility. He's pretty much a 002k vanilla, which is terrible, so don't run this bird. I don't know why he's an R. He's pretty bad. One sec. Okay, on to the next card. We got 0025 Uncommon Frankenstein's Puyo and Modified. When this card is played from hand to stage, place the top 2 cards of your deck to the waiting room. If there's any climaxes amongst those cards, this card gets plus 3k power until the end of the turn. So you on play, you mill 2. If you mill climax, he's 5/5 until the end of the turn, which is pretty cool, but honestly, I don't think it's cool enough. I think the 004K's on play mill 2 is better, and I do believe they have one. It's a freaking double R yellow 004K. On play mill 2, there's a climax, put it to rest. I think that one's better because it's 4k base, making it strong on offense and defense. These Frankensteins are only strong on offense, being 5/5 on offense, but potentially 5/5 on offense, but probably usually going to be 2/5 on offense because at level 0, on play mill 2, hitting a climax is more unlikely than not hitting a climax because you only have, at level before the first refresh, you are most susceptible to you have the least compressed. And so hitting a climax on play milling 2, hitting a climax is somewhat unlikely. So honestly, just stick to the 004K on play mill 2 because if you want to on play mill 2, I would say the 004K is a better choice. There's no real reason to run these Frankensteins in my opinion. Next up we got 002K common Oshade Bones. Man, all these weird characters coming out. Oshade Bones, Puyo and Close. That's a strange trait. Anyways, he has an act ability where you put him to rest, then you choose one of your Puyo characters, gets plus 1k power until the end of the turn, then choose another character, then choose one of your other characters with the same name and gets plus 1k power until the end of the turn. So he's kind of similar to that TD assist we talked about last week, where that assist gave soul. However, this Bones gives power. I would say this Bones is a pretty bad card because you do have to place him to rest. Pretty much meaning that you have to put him in the back row. So pretty much you have to tap him, you give a character plus 1k. If you have another character same name, it gets additional, you give that one plus 1k. I think you're better off with a better back row card than this Bones, because for this Bones to be at its fullest potential, every turn you must have 2 characters with the same name on the field. Which is very possible because you could run 4 of the same cards in the deck, but still, I would say just stick to, because if you don't have 2 characters with the same name on the field, then he's not as good. You only tap to give plus 1k, which isn't too bad on its own, but still it's not good enough. It's a little too much work to reach his full potential, his effect's full potential, and even his effect at its fullest potential isn't all that great. It's a lot of work. If you want to give your characters plus 1k, just play a 1k 1 soul, you know what I mean? You don't have to go through all this work for this Bones, and he's just taking up deck slot he's just taking up deck spot too, so just run better cards than this. He's only uncommon for a reason. For Puyo, just like last week, we're just kind of going through like miscellaneous cards. All the cool double R's and R's have been shown. Just a bunch of common uncommons at this point. Next up, 2175 common onions. My love onions. Anyways, Puyo and a horn. Continuous. If you have 5 or fewer cards in your deck, this card loses 1 level in your hand, so he can come out at level 1. Continuous. For every other Oniko on your center stage, this card gets plus 2k. Oniko right here, 116k common Oniko, Puyo and horn. For every other onion on your center stage, the card gets plus 2k and it has hand encore. These pair of cards are pretty terrible. First of all, for onion to come out at level 1, you need to have 5 or fewer cards in your deck. It's definitely possible to have that happen at level 1, but it's not always very likely, and it's not always a good thing to refresh that early at level 1. And, if you refresh at level 1, if you have like no stock or anything, then it's not very good, and you're probably not going to have a lot of stock because if you want that to happen, you're probably running these onions and these onikos, which both cost 1 apiece, which isn't very good. So, onion coming out at level 1, it's definitely possible, but it's not the greatest thing ever. If he does come out at level 1, and you have an oniko, then I guess it's not too bad, because oniko herself will be a 118k with hand encore, which is pretty difficult to deal with. And onion himself will be a 219k. I'm sorry, he'll be a 2195 before Sis, which is pretty difficult to deal with at level 1. But still, like I said, him coming out level 1 is it's not the greatest thing ever. You're probably putting up a little too much work to get him out at level 1 if that was your game plan. If you do so, then it's pretty good for level 1, but you're kind of hurting the rest of your deck, because your level 2, you won't have much stock because you spent so much you spent stock for this Oniko and this Onion. If your opponent is level 2, they're probably playing level 3s, which will smash Onion and smash Oniko. And at that point, it's not very good, because Onion, he can kind of compete with the level 3s, because he is 9-5, which, for example, can compete with the Mane. But still, it hurts the rest of your deck. Like, you're sacrificing stock for these pair of cards. At level 2, they're not very good, and at level 3, these cards are completely dead. So, way too much work, and it's not worth it. You're hurting yourself more by playing this pair of cards. Just don't run either of them, because it's just not very good. Alright, on to the next card. We have a lot of fairly interesting cards. 3-2-10k R, Chocolate Mira, Uraba, Aoi, Striker, and Swordsmanship. So this card fairly interesting. When this card is played from hand to stage or via the auto ability of Chocolate Mira, Sakai Miya Hotaru, which is the card we'll talk about soon. Look at top 3 cards of your deck, add one of them to your hand, and discard any remaining cards to your waiting room. Climax combos with the time of the decisive battle, which is this. Stock 1 soul, if I recall correctly. Yep, stock 1 soul. It's a Climax common, by the way. So when you attack with the stock 1 soul, you can pay cost. I'm sorry. So when this card declares an attack with the stock 1 soul, and you have 4 or more other characters with the Chocolate Mira in its name, you may pay cost, which is 1. So it's essentially free because it is the stock 1 soul. But anyways, if you do, this card gets plus 2/5 power until the end of your opponent's next turn, and you perform one of the following action of your choice. You either deal 1 damage to your opponent, or you heal 1. And that's it. So Uraba, very, very interesting. I really like this whole choose 1 option between this Climax combo. But as you can see, it's a lot of work, because you must have 4 characters with the Chocolate Mira in its name. So of course Chocolate Mira, Uraba herself, does fulfill the condition. So I guess to truly understand how practical Uraba is, we'll have to talk about the whole Chocolate Mira brigade now, don't we? So let's go on to the Chocolate Mira crew, and after we go through all of them, we'll talk about Uraba as a whole, because if all these cards suck, then there's no really point. Then playing Uraba is a little too impractical, huh? So on to the support the actual other Chocolate Mita cards. So first off, we got 2/1 uncommon 4K Chocolate Mita Chitose Yui, Striker and Maiden. So she's a 1K global for your Striker characters. She has an auto ability of when this card is played from hand to stage, or via the auto ability of Chocolate Mita Sakamiya Hotaru, which is the same card that can play this Uraba. You get to draw a card, then discard a card. Also Climax with the time of this decisive battle, which is the same stock 1 soul that combos with Uraba. So when you play the stock 1 soul, choose one of your characters and get plus 1500 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So Yui, not too bad. You know, if you're trying to promote a archetype or a certain deck, having proper support is always appreciated. So this Yui is not too shabby of a support. She's a 1K global for striker characters, so you can technically run her in any deck because, you know, her first effect does work for all striker characters. So her first effect, not too shabby at all, a 1K global, always appreciated. Her second ability, not too bad, when it's played from hand to stage or via the effect of this girl. You get to draw a card and discard a card, which isn't too bad, especially in conjunction with Uraba, because Uraba's Climax combo is pretty cool. And the fact that Uraba does on-play check top 3 and Chitose does draw ditch, getting the Climax to your hand shouldn't be all that difficult. Her Climax combo is okay. You play the Climax, you choose one of your characters, it gets plus 1500 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Not too shabby at all, but it's not the greatest Climax combo, to be completely honest. But it's that way because more cards combo with the decisive battle, which we'll talk about now. So next up, 2275R Chocolate Mita Sakamiya Hotaru. This is the card that changes into this is the card that has the ability to play both Uraba, Chitose, and the other cards that we'll talk about soon. So 2275R Striker and Manga. Experience, if you have experience 3 or greater, this card gets plus 2k power, so it's pretty much a 2295 2 soul. Auto ability, when the Climax, I'm sure you guys can guess, the time of the decisive battle is placed on your Climax border, you may pay cost, which is discard a striker character from your hand to the waiting room. If you do, choose one striker character from your waiting room whose level is equal or lower to your current level and place it onto any border on your stage. So, Hotaru, kind of a letdown, because of the fact that you must grab a character of the same level as you. If you can grab any striker character, then I think it would have been a lot better. If you can play this Uraba at level 2, I think it would have been a lot better. But sadly, you cannot because, you know, do keep in mind, you must grab a character whose level is equal to yours or lower. So you cannot cheat any cards out early, which is quite a shame. Anyways, I guess more on Hotaru. 2295 for 2 soul, not too bad. Not the greatest, but it's whatever. She's pretty much 2295 because she does need experience 3, yes, but honestly, this, as you see, the set is experience based. Hitting experience 3 at level 2 is very, very, very easy to do. So her first condition is not even really condition in itself, so she was essentially always 2295. Her Climax combo is okay, but honestly very intensive on the hand size because, like I said, with Momoka Sasa, this girl, yeah, Momokawa, my bad. Like I said with Momokawa, stock 1 soul is a minus in hand size, so this Climax combo is very hand size intensive because you're essentially losing 2 cards in your hand. 1 hand size for the Climax itself, and you're discarding a card from your hand for her Climax combo. But I guess discarding a card from your hand for her Climax combo isn't too bad because you get any striker whose level is current, who is same level as yourself or lower, and you place it onto the original border of this field. So it's kind of like you're losing a character from your hand to get any character from your waiting room that's equal to your level, and then placing it onto the field. Of course, to maximize on its full potential, you should grab a character of your same level. You know, if you're level 2, don't grab a level 1 or level 0, grab another level 2. You know, prime targets being this Hotaru and this Chitose, but still, in the end, not a real fan of this Sakamiya. Like I'm sure you guys all know, I'm not a big fan of 2/2s, a little too stock intensive. She's 2295 2 soul, which is cool and all, but still, her Climax combo is kind of nifty, but still, it's it's honestly whatever. Next up, we got 1045 uncommon Chocolate Mia Kananagi Shiori, Striker and Chunibyo. Auto, when it's played from hand to stage or via the ability of Chocolate Mia Sakamiya Hotaru, this card gets power plus X until the end of the turn, where X is the number of striker characters you control multiplied by 500. Do keep in mind she does include herself, so she can get plus 2/5 power on play or via the ability of Hotaru, so she could be a 107k. Of course, once again, she combos with the same stock 1 soul. So when the card declares an attack with the climax at time of the decisive battle, this card gets plus 1500 power and the following ability till the end of the turn. When this card reverses its opponent battle, you may place that character to the bottom of its owner's deck. So Shiori, not too bad. On play, like I said, she can get plus 2/5 max, so she can be a 107k on offense, which is pretty respectable. Her auto ability, her climax combo is not too bad because it's costless. Gives her a decent amount of power, sits her at let's say you play Shiori last in a full field. Let's say she's a 107k. You play the climax, you gain the stock, then she gets an additional 15, which is pretty respectable, so it should be a 1085 on offense, which isn't too bad at all. And when she does kill something, you get to put it to the bottom of its owner's deck. Get past Encore, which is really cool, especially in something like the 2 Love Root Darkness matchup. You can kill those 1055 Mikons with no problem, because they're usually at like 106k. Her being 1085 before assists, you kill something, put that shit to the bottom of its owner's deck. Your opponent can't hand Encore with the assist Yami because it goes to the bottom of the deck. So yeah, Shiori, definitely not too bad. Makes this whole Chocolate Mita archetype thingy a little more practical, but yeah, definitely a pretty solid card. Next up, 00500 uncommon. She's actually cool thing, or I guess something to note. She's a pretty solid card on her own. You don't really have to play her with the whole Chocolate Mita Brigade. She's not too bad as a standalone card, but with her climax combo, she's definitely a lot better. But kind of the same thing with Momokawa with such a huge set. I'm sure there'll be better climax combos to run than this. So I don't think Shiori will see play, but I do think she's a decent card on her. For an uncommon, I definitely think she's solid on her own, but I don't think you'll see her used as like a, I think you'll only see her in a Chocolate Mita deck. Anyways, next card, 00500 uncommon Chocolate Mita Wakatsuki Chika, Striker and Fireworks. 500 front assist, combos with the stock 1 soul. Auto, when you play the climax, auto, pay 1, place this card to rest. When the climax, the time of the decisive battle is placed on the climax border, you can pay cost. If you do, draw a card. So Chica's okay, 500 front assist. You play the climax, you pay 1, put it to rest, you get to draw a card. Essentially free because it is a stock 1 soul. So you essentially just you play the climax, you put Chica to rest, and you get to draw a card out of it, which isn't too bad. You get to break even on your climax because like I said, the climax is a minus in hand size, but the Chica makes it a break even, and you don't gain the extra stock, but you do gain extra hand size. But most importantly, you give all your characters plus 1 soul. So Chica, I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. But anyways, now that we know, I'm pretty sure that's all of them. Yeah, now that we know the whole Chocolate Mita Brigade, how practical is this Uraba? I don't think it's very practical, because do keep in mind, Uraba needs a full field of freaking Chocolate Mitas for her climax combo to go off. Do keep in mind, you cannot make a full Chocolate Mita deck unless they introduce more Chocolate Mitas down the line. But as of right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards with the name Chocolate Mita. Run 4 of these each, and you have a 20 card deck. You need 22 other cards. Well, I should say 30 other cards, but essentially 22 because you're running 8 climaxes. You can't make a full deck of Chocolate Mitas. And if that's the case, Uraba's climax combo going off at level 3 is definitely not impossible. You could have Chitose in the back, 1 Chitose in the back, 1 Chica in the back, and you could have like 3 Uraba. You could have like 1 Uraba in the front and like 1 Hotaru, 1 Shiori, what have you, and then you can climax combo and then you can go ham. But still, it's pretty difficult if your entire deck is not Chocolate Mita. if your full field isn't Chocolate Mita, Utaba's Climax Combo does not go off. Of course, this how these girls interact does make it a little easier because, Chitose helps you draw a card, discard a card. Utaba, you look at top 3. If you already have the Climax in your hand, you can grab more Chocolate Mitas. Of course, you can choose to resolve, if you have both Hotaru and Utaba in the front row, you can choose to resolve Hotaru's first, get another Chocolate Mita in your waiting room, Utaba's Climax Combo goes off, etc, etc. But ultimately, in the end, I think it's just way too much work for this Climax Combo. Her Climax Combo, I really do think it's awesome and cool. Getting 2-5 power, it's not the greatest ever, but it's pretty respectable. 12-5 before assist, and you get to either choose to heal or burn one. I think that's really cool, but still, I don't think, if you can make a whole entire Chocolate Mita deck, then it would have been really cool, but you can't. Like I said, you can only make the maximum amount of Chocolate Mita girls you can run is 20 in your deck. At level 3, if you have any other card on your field that's not a Chocolate Mita, Utaba's Climax Combo is useless. And that's not good. And I think you're putting in way too much work to have a full field of Chocolate Mitas at level 3 for this Climax Combo. This Climax Combo is really cool and all, but I don't it's good, but is it good enough for you to sacrifice your deck building and potentially at level 3, it might make you not have the optimal board because you're trying to get this Chocolate Mita combo off. Let's say you have a healer in your hand, or I don't know, let's say you have an Amane in your hand. You choose not to play the Amane from your hand that turn because you want to, do the whole Chocolate Mita thing. And, her Climax Combo might force you to not make the most optimal plays because you are too concentrated on this Climax Combo. If you don't choose to, and you can't Climax Combo, full feed of Chocolate Mitas, and if you don't Climax Combo with her, then what the hell is the point of this card? It's just a freaking on play check top 3, which is not, it's not the greatest thing ever. So, in the end, I think it's way too much work. I really like the idea behind it. I like how they're trying to push for these different, girl set decks in this huge booster. I like how they're trying to make different little decks in them. This whole Chocolate Mita shenanigans. But I don't think it's good enough. I would just say, in a serious deck. Of course, this is not for a serious. Seriously, just run the other girls, and you should be good. Just don't run these Chocolate Mitas girls. You can probably make something fun with them though. I mean, they're only an R uncommon, R uncommon, uncommon. If you buy a bunch of boosters, you can grab all of them together, make a fun deck. I'm not too sure what you're gonna do with the other 20 girls or with the other 22 characters in your deck, but I guess that's what deck building's all about, huh? So yeah, in the end, a very fun little archetype you can run, but I don't think they'll see any competitive play anytime soon. Chitose is okay as a standalone card, and Karanagi is kind of okay as a standalone card, but still, Karanagi is okay, but I don't think we'll be seeing any of them. Next up, we got more Puyo, 2/1/4/5 uncommon, Comet Magician Lemris, Puyo on Suites. Level assist in front. Act ability, you can pay 2, place him to rest, choose one of your cards in your clock, return it to your hand, then clock yourself 1 damage. Not too bad of a level assist. And he pretty much, you can pay 2 to pretty much plus. You pay 2, put him to rest, choose a card in your clock, add it to your hand, you clock yourself 1 damage. You can choose any card in your clock to add it to your hand, so you can add climaxes, you can add events, what have you. You do clock yourself in the process, which can be scary, because if you clock a climax, that's not very good, especially at level 3. But still, he's an okay. For an uncommon, I definitely think he's solid. Level assist and pay 2 plus. The plussing is a little limited, because you can only grab what's in your clock. But the benefit, of course, is you can grab anything in your clock, so you can grab climaxes and events, which is kind of cool. So for an uncommon, I definitely think he's solid. Next up, 1055 uncommon, aiming for the dark Magic's Club. Puyo and Book, continuous. This card loses 1 level on stage, so he's essentially level 0 on stage. Continuous, for every other level 0 character you control, he gets plus 500 power. So I think this Clug is kind of cool. He's at level 0 on the field, yes. So he is susceptible to level 0 Suiciders, and he can be side attacked for the full soul damage because he's level 0 on stage. But he can have a pretty big body for a costless character. Let's say your 2 back row are level 0s, then he's at least a 1065, which isn't too shabby. Wait, actually, yeah, he's a 1065 at least before assist. If you have a full field of level 0s on the field, he's a 1075 before assist, which is pretty ridiculous. But, that is if you have a full field of level 0s, which might not always be the case. He is susceptible to side attacking, and once again, he is susceptible to level 0 Suiciders. If he gets level 0 Suicided into, that's pretty bad. But still, what can you do? At least you still break even. But for an uncommon, I think he's pretty cool. He can be a potentially pretty big level 1 for no cost. But still, I think there are better cards you could be running than this Clug. But still, like I said, I do like the idea behind him. I think he's kind of cool, but I don't think he'll make the cut. Next up, more commons, uncommons. Actually, we have a rare this time. 1/6K, uncommon, Time Traveler, Ecolo, Puyo, and Mystery. If you have 2 more other Puyo characters on the field, he gets +1 level and +1500 power. So he's pretty much a 1/1. He's a 1175 level 2, which is not too bad. And all you need to have is 2 or more Puyo characters on the field, which is ridiculously easy to achieve. So yeah, not too bad for an uncommon. 2/1, 2175, definitely not too bad. Man, back in the days, Angel Beats 1175, OP. And she has a potential of killing herself. But now we have this guy, 1/6K, uncommon. If you have 2 more Puyo characters on the field, he's a level 2, and he's 2175 all the time. How the times has changed, but still, pretty solid for the uncommon. But he's actually not too bad. If you have 2 or more Puyo characters on the field, +1 level, +15. That's pretty solid. Definitely for an uncommon, I definitely think he's solid. You can try maybe 1 or 2 of these in your decks. It's actually not too bad. 2175. If your opponent, can give your opponent quite some problems because he's 75 base and he's level 2. So, definitely for an uncommon, he's pretty good. He's pretty good for an uncommon, and he's actually pretty playable. So yeah. I guess I'll leave it at that. Pretty surprising. I don't know why I didn't think it was playable at first, but yeah, he's definitely not too shabby. 2175, nothing to mess with. So maybe you can run 2 or 3. Maybe run 2 of these, 2 or 1 of these in your deck. Might have some success depending on the matchup. So yeah. Anyways, on to the next card. 002KR, good, evil, and honest Ecolo, Puyo, and Mystery. If you have a blue Climax on your Climax border, he gets +1 soul. Climax combos with Isn't This Fun. When the Climax Isn't This Fun is placed on your Climax border and he's in the front row, you get pay cost, which is 1. If you do, choose 2 of your opponent's level 2 or lower characters, stand them, and swap their positions. The card he combos with is a 2k1. So, good and evil Ecolo, I think he's kind of cool. If you have blue Climax on your Climax border, he gets +1 soul. So if you use, and it works with any blue Climax, so if you, let's say you have like a +2 soul, he'll be 4 soul base, which is pretty cool. But, more practically, let's say you have a 1k1 soul or a stock 1 soul, he'll be 3 soul, which is pretty damn scary, especially if your opponent has like a bad run and your opponent doesn't have a lot of Climaxes. This guy, he can bring the pain. So his first effect I like a lot. His Climax combo, not that great. Pretty much, you pay 1. If you do, you choose 2 of your opponent's level 2 or lower characters, you stand them, and you swap their position. So you pretty much, essentially, of course, you're probably going to bring a level 2 character to the front row, and then you'll probably kill the assist. So he's pretty much an assist killer, but still, I think there are better Climax combos to be running. Like, you could run the level 3 Bear Climax combo, the guy that heals. You could be running his Climax. I believe he had a Climax combo, right? Yeah, I believe you could be running him. You could be running the yellow Climax combo, the level 3 Arie, the one that does 1,000,000 damage. You could be running that one instead. I'm sure there's just better combos you could be running. I like his first effect a lot, but it's not good enough on its own, you know. So, so his climax combo ultimately in the end, his climax combo is not very good, and his first effect isn't good enough to run him alone. So as a whole, he's not very good. So don't run him. Next up, we have this random ass yellow event. 2-0 uncommon, all clear. Um, all players return all cards in their respective waiting rooms to their deck, and then shuffle their decks. Then choose one of your characters. It gets +1 soul until the end of the turn. Definitely a little wonky, but I don't really recommend it. Not really. It's not good all the time. It's very like situational. If you have a really bad refresh, and you want like this is like pretty much like an on-demand, like I need a freaking refresh right now card. You use it, you refresh, cool, and then you give a character +1 soul. You lose 1 hand size in the process, which isn't good, but still. If you need to refresh, then you gotta use any means necessary. Of course, you can use it to your own advantage. You can use it to mess up your opponent. Let's say your opponent has a really compressed deck. They have like 10 cards left, 6 climaxes in there, but they have like 20 cards in the waiting room. You don't want to deal with that shit. Just make them refresh with this event, and then potentially you can deal more damage to them. So yeah, you can use it either way, but still, I don't think it's good enough to run. I would say just don't run this card. There's better cards you could be running than this event. Next up, we got double R blue, 3/2 10k double R Sakemiya Hotaru. Oh, is this the same Hotaru? Oh, it is. Huh. Anyways, striker and manga. So experience. If you have experience 6 or greater, this card gets plus 1500 power, so she's essentially 11/5 base, which is pretty damn strong. Auto. So this ability can only be activated once returned. During the turn, this card is played from hand to stage, and this card reverses its opponent in battle. You may pay cost, which is discard 2 striker characters from your hand. Then you choose one of your other characters on stage and send it to the waiting room. If you do, choose one scene of Summer Hotaru from your waiting room and place it onto the original border of this card. One scene of Summer Hotaru is this next card right here. 1055 uncommon, striker and manga. So continuous. If you have 2 or fewer striker characters, this card cannot be played from your hand. And experience. If you have experience 2 or greater, this card gets plus 1k. So it's essentially a 1065, because getting experience 2 by level 1 is very easy. So this pair of cards, very similar to Anastasia and Minami from Cinderella Girls, how Minami, or how Anya Climax Combo brings out Minami, and then it's pretty much like a double attack, but it's on 2 separate characters. Very similar to that combo, and that combo is it is definitely played. Yeah, it's not like I don't see it in every Cinderella Girls deck, but I definitely do see it. And I definitely think it's solid. But anyways, enough about those two. On to Hotaru. So Hotaru herself, not too bad. She's 11/5 base essentially because of her experience. And her being 11/5 base is awesome because she needs all the power she can get, because she is a double attacker that is dependent on reversing your opponent's character. Essentially, when you kill something on your opponent's field, and it's played from hand to stage, you can pay cost, which is pay 2, or discard 2 striker characters from your hand, which is very hand intensive, and you choose one of your other characters and you send it to the waiting room, and then you bring out the level 1. I guess we should talk about the level 1 first, because the level 1 is terrible. Then you're hurting your deck by trying to run this pair. You know what I mean? Like, if she brought out a really bad card, then it's kind of hurting your deck creation, because you're running a bad card to make another card more practical. But I definitely think Hotaru is very I think she's alright. Her being 1065, because you need experience too. Very easy to accomplish, like I said. So a 1065 is always appreciated. However, you know, she must have a demerit, and her demerit is you cannot play her if you have 2 or fewer striker characters on your field. So essentially, you must have 3 characters on the field to play her, because if you have 1 character, you can't play it. If you have 2 characters, you cannot play it, because you need to have 2 or more. You essentially need to have more than 2. So you must have 3 characters on the field to play this Hotaru, which can be pretty difficult to accomplish sometimes, because sometimes your hand is clogged up with these Hotarus. And if that's the case, like let's say you hit level 1 and you have like 2 assists in the back row, but if your hand is clogged up with these Hotarus, then you really can't play them, and then you're kind of fucked. But still, Hotaru, I definitely don't think she's like a main beater. I think she's more like a supplementary beater. I don't think you'll be running like 4 of these Hotarus, because like I said, if you run 4 of these Hotarus, then like when you hit level 1, you might have too many Hotarus in your hand, and if you can't play any of them, then you're kind of boned. A problem I have with my Honoka waifu deck sometimes. Sometimes I have too many of those 1-0 Honokas in my hand, and I can't play any of them. If you're Honoka fans, then I'm sure you know what card I'm talking about. But anyways, this card, very similar to that. So I don't think you should be running 4 of this, because if you are running 4 of these, then like I said, it can get very cloggy. So I definitely think she's more of a supplementary beater. Maybe run like 2 or 3 of these. I would say probably 3, because that way you can make this Hotaru's Climax combo more viable, or I should say more practical. So yeah, I would say run 2 or 3 of these Hotarus. Definitely don't think she's too bad. Hopefully blue will get another beater that can, like, hopefully they'll get another really good beater that you could run 4 of. And then like let's say you have like 4 of another really good 1-0 blue beater, and you can run like 2 or 3 of these Hotarus, and then that's not too shabby at all. So definitely don't run 4, I think, because it can get pretty bad. But still, as 2 or 3 of, I think she's pretty good. And because of that, back onto the level 3, because of that, it does definitely make her Climax combo more viable, because you don't have to run a terrible card to make her practical. You have to run a pretty decent card. Her double attack, very similar to Anastasia, like I said. The benefits of this double attacker duo is the fact that it is more resilient to anti-damage, because if you anti-damage Hotaru, she still does kill something, and if she does, then you pay cost and you bring out this Hotaru, and this Hotaru isn't affected by the anti-damage, and so you get to deal damage with this Hotaru, unlike typical double attackers, like, I don't know, the new Emiya from Unlimited Blade Works. Actually, no, that doesn't work. Typical double attackers, I don't know, let's say the Muse double attacker. If you anti-damage the Muse double attacker, or let's say the Hanayo double attacker, can get pretty bad, because they cannot deal any damage for the turn. So this one definitely more resilient to anti-damage. The cost on her double attacking is pretty heavy. Discarding 2 strikers from your hand, very hand intensive, which is not that good, but it's very light on stock, which is nice. So in the end, Hotaru, it's okay. Not the greatest double R in my opinion, but at least blue does have a game ender. She's 11.5 base, which is pretty strong. Her Climax combo is not too bad. It's a double attacker, and it's completely costless. All you have to do is kill something with Hotaru, and you have to discard 2 cards from your hand. The discard might actually be a little benefit to Hotaru, because you can pay cost, which is discard 2 strikers. If you have no Hotarus in your waiting room, you can discard 1 Hotaru from your hand for the cost, and then now you do have a target for her double attacking, so you can do something like that. So yeah, overall in the end, like I said, I don't think it's the greatest double R ever, but it's alright. At least blue does have a game ender with this Hotaru, so yeah. I don't know, I feel like I should talk more about this card, but it's fairly straightforward. Yeah, it's a very straightforward card. If blue gets a better game ender, then perhaps you don't have to run this Hotaru, and you don't have to run this other Hotaru. But if this is the only game ender for blue, then you should consider running a couple of these Hotarus, and this other Hotaru, because having a game ender is always really good to have, So yeah. Next up, this card. Ooh, this card. I think this card's really good. 00500 R, Student Council Princess Aoi, Striker and Swordsmanship. Continuous. All your other blue characters get plus 500 power. Experience. During the start of your opponent's draw phase, if the total level of card in the level area is 3 or greater, choose one of your blue characters to get plus 1k power until the end of the turn. So man, this Aoi, I think, like I said, very good. 500 global. Her first effect, 500 global for blue characters. Like we said, or I think now like I said, seems like Schoolgirl Strikers is a very color-based set. So her being 500 global for blue characters is no surprise. If you're probably, there's a high chance you're going to be running a mono blue deck. And if that's the case, she's essentially a 500 global for all your characters. So pretty much 500 global. Experience 3, and experience 3 can be achieved by level 1. So her second effect can be accomplished as early as level 1, which is really good because starting at level 1, during the start of your opponent's draw phase, you choose any of your blue characters and you give it plus 1k power until the end of the turn. Not too bad at all. A 500 global and a plus 1k boost during the start of your opponent's draw phase to one of your characters. Not too bad at all. Can definitely make the difference. Keeping your characters alive is always a good thing, and that additional 1k power might deny your opponent from getting something like a 1-0 reversing plusing climax combo off, and that's always good to and stopping your opponent from plusing with those 1-0 climax combos is always a good thing. So definitely I think Aoi is a very solid card. I can definitely see her being a strong contender as a assist of choice in the blue decks to come. 003K comment, believer of sweet bean paste, Yui, Striker, and Maiden. The character directly opposite of this game, the bean paste trait. So essentially a vanilla 3K with some cool flavor. Definitely, I'm sure there'll be better beaters than this. So what does she do? Does she give you like a bean paste or something in the game? I don't know. Maybe she gives out free bean paste. That'd be kind of cool. 1500 comment. 1500 no cost backup. 1500 no cost backup. Not too bad, but hopefully they get a 102k no cost backup because those are always way better. So not too bad. If they don't get a 102k backup, then probably this Yui will be ran in some kind. But if they do, then of course there's no point to this. Next up, some signs for Puyo. So this busted card got assigned. Seems like all the double R's got assigned. So sign. So to no surprise, the double R's would get assigned. Isn't this one from the TD? So is this a sign for the TD? I'm not too sure anymore, but yeah, some cool signs. I'm not too fan of the art for Puyo, but still, they are kind of cool. Pretty interesting set. Lastly, the last day, we got Schoolgirl Strikers 105KR Aoi Yuki. Oh, is that Aoi too? Oh no, I guess there's two Aois. We got Uraba Aoi, and we got Aoi Yuki. Anyways, 105KR Striker and Extraordinary. When the climax Pierce Through is placed on your climax border, and you have 4 more other red characters, and this card is on your center stage, switch your deck for up to 1 Hinomiya Niho. Show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck, and this card gets plus 1 level and plus 2/5 power until the end of the turn. The card this card combos with is a 2k1. Oh man, the art. Huh. I like the art on this 2k1 a lot. It's really cool. I just like the style. But this one, I'm like whatever about, but this one looks really cool. Anyways, we don't actually know what the card she grabs yet, because she has to grab a Hinomiya Niho. And right here, no Hinomiya Niho, no Hinomiya Niho, no Hinomiya Niho, no Hinomiya Niho. So, we don't know what card she grabs yet, so we can't fully judge her as a whole. But still, her climax combo in itself is not too shabby. First of all, she combos the 2k1. 2k1, not too bad. Breaks even, always good. Having more power, also very nice. You have to run her in a mono red deck, essentially, because you need to have 4 more other red characters. Which isn't too hard to accomplish, because like we said, this set is probably going to be monocolor based. So essentially, when she attacks, when you play the climax, and you have 4 more other red characters, you can switch your deck for 1 Hinomiya Niho, which we don't know yet, and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck, and then she gets plus 2k power and plus 2/5 power and plus 1 level, which isn't too shabby. So overall, the Aoi Yuki, even though we don't know what the card is yet, it's still not too bad. Like on paper, on paper, it's not too bad. You play the climax, which breaks even, and you search your deck for this Hinomiya Niho. We don't know what it is, but still, you do plus 1, which is good. And then after, she gets a pretty respectable amount of power of 2/5 and plus 1 level, so she's 7/5 by itself. Let's say you 2k1 Aoi Yuki herself, She could be 9-5 before assist on offense, and she could be level 2. If your opponent has any wandering level 1 Suiciders on the field, then Yuki can take care of that. So, her Climax combo, definitely fairly solid, but, you know, it does depend on what this Hinamiya Niho is. If this Hinamiya Niho is like a level 0 garbage card, then of course the practicality of this the practicality of this Climax combo does go down. But if it's a really solid card, then of course the playability of this card does go up accordingly. So, on paper, even though we don't know what this card is yet, it's still not too bad. But you know, what's really going to justify this card is what this Hinamiya Niho is, and we don't know what that is. So, you know, we can't really judge it. So, I guess we'll leave it at that. Just really depends on what this card is. Man, this art is super awesome. Anyways, next card. 00-1500R Masochist Haishima Isari, Striker and Odd Eyes. Odd Eyes? Oh, I see, because she got the heterochromia going on. But anyways, during the start of your own turn, when this card reverses its opponent in battle, look at top card of your deck and either leave it there or place it to the waiting room. Auto, when the card, or auto, is a level 0 Suicider. So this level 0 Suicider, I think it's really cool. You know, level 0 Suicider, automatically playable. And her first effect is definitely pretty cool. You pretty much get a free scry if you kill something during your own turn, which is very likely going to happen because it is a level 0 Suicider. So yeah, I think she's really cool. A scry during your own turn if she does kill something, and a level 0 Suicider. Yeah, the scry ability can be very useful. You can use it to trigger check, like if you're attacking 2 times, you attack with Isari first. Let's say she does kill your opponent's character, you scry, so you look at top. If you want to, you know, you get to see if you want to put that into your stock or not. If you want to trigger it, then leave it on top. If you don't, put it to the waiting room. And yeah, I think that's really cool. Or you can use it on like defense, as maybe like a defensive way. If you attack, let's say same situation, you attack 2 times. You attack with your other character first. Let's say you attack with Yuki first. Then you attack with Isari second. Isari does manage to kill your opponent's character. You look at top. If it's not a climax, you can choose to put it to the waiting room. That way you are 1 card closer to actually hitting a climax off the top of your deck. Or if you see a climax off the top, you can leave it there, and then you are guaranteed to cancel 1 attack next turn, which is also really cool. So yeah, overall, I really like this Suicider. I think it's really cool. So yeah, definitely going to be, you know, it's a level 0 Suicider, so it's automatically very playable. But I really think the scry ability is super awesome on a Suicider. So yeah, I really like this card. Ooh, that panty shot though, right? I can't see damn text, but yeah, definitely panties I see. Anyways, 1-0 Sadist Hashiyama Kagari. What? Oh, this is Isari and this is Kagari. Anyways, Striker and Odd Eyes once again. Experience, if the total, pretty much experience 2, she gets plus 1k, so she's 104k, and she's a level 1 Suicider. So, pretty cool. Level 1 Suicider, always most appreciated. This one, no exception. She's essentially 4k base because, like I said, having experience 2 by level 1 is very easy to accomplish. So she's essentially a 104k level 1 Suicider, which is alright because she is a level 1 Suicider. But honestly, I would like my level 1 Suiciders to have a bit more utility than just being a Suicider, you know? But still, can't complain. The set does have level 1 Suicider now, so very good. Probably going to see some play in the future Schoolgirl Strikers deck to come. Next up, we got 1055 Comment her ladyship Niho, Striker and Lady. Oh yeah, this is a very odd card. Continuous. When you control another character with the Isari or Kagari in its name, this card gets the Yakisoba Pan trait, fried buckwheat noodle trait. Oh, is there a leak to this? Yo, here we go. So yeah, against this trait. I like Yakisoba, but I'm not really a fan of the Yakisoba Pan. But anyways, let's go on. So, doesn't really do anything. Continuous experience with the total cards. If you experience 7 all your other striker characters lose the extraordinary trait. Translator's note: I'm not exactly sure if the ability are purely flavor or if there will be synergy. And I totally agree. No idea what the hell the point of this card is. It's very funny. Giving the extra traits, losing traits. Just like the author said, I'm most positive this is purely for flavor. I really can't see how this will have any synergy down the line. I was really excited when I was reading this card. I was like, what? Experience 7 on a level 1? And then I read its effect. I was like, oh, it's just for flavor. So yeah, just a flavor card. We'll just go on. Next up, we got 3-2 10KR Biscuit, Sidious, Aoyuki, Striker and Ordinary. I'm sorry, Striker and Extraordinary. Oh man, I'm getting really tired. I had a really busy day at work. But anyways, Continuous. Man, it's only 9-2. Anyways, last cards. So Continuous. When all your characters are red, she gets plus 1k, so it should be 11k base. Auto: once played from hand to stage, reveal top card of your deck. If that card is a red character, you may deal 1 to your opponent. Of course, damage can be cancelled. Lastly, when the damage of this card is cancelled, you can pay cost, which is 1. If you do, choose 1 character in your waiting room, add it to your hand, then discard 1 card from your hand to the waiting room. So Yuki, not too bad. I think it's a pretty cool card, especially for an R. If you have a full field of red character, she gets plus 1k power, which is most likely going to happen if you're running this Yuki because of her second effect. Her second effect is a burn 1 on play, but you must reveal a red character for her effect to go off. Essentially, if you're running her, you should be running a mono red deck because you really don't want to whiff on this ability, you know? So definitely you're going to be running her in a mono red deck, and if that's the case, her first ability should be going off every time. So she's essentially a 3-2 11k base. And her second effect, on play burn 1. Like I said many times in the past with on play burn 1. It's a nice ability to have, can definitely help you choose how to attack. Definitely helps you distribute your damage before your attack phase. And of course, it does get past anti-damage backups, which is always really cool to have. Lastly, her third effect is also fairly interesting. When her damage is cancelled, you can pay cost, which is 1. If you do, you choose a card in your waiting room, add it to your hand, then you discard a card. A little painful, you have to pay 1 because you do have to pay that 1 at level 3. You can't really cheat her out to at level 2. Paying that 1 at level 3 can be pretty substantial. It might prevent you from playing another level 3 from your hand, but still, having a little extra hand fix every time her damage is cancelled is quite nice. She's already playable for her second ability, but being 11k base and having the optional hand fix when her damage is cancelled is also, it's kind of like the icing on the cake. So for an R, I definitely think this Yuki is pretty cool. If you're running a mono red deck, I don't see you, why wouldn't you run maybe like 2 or 3 of these? Because she's not too shabby. And her being 11k base is also very nice because once again, if you're running mono red, you could consider a couple of these Amanes. And the Amane, like I said, she herself doesn't have to reverse anything, but your other characters are going to have to kill something. And this Aoi, being 11k base, can help you get the job done. Once again, she combos at the gate, so she can be like, if you use these together, she can be like 12k, and I think that can be pretty cool. And you can grab her with your Amane, play Amane, grab a Yuki, play the Yuki, burn 1, Yuki, 11k base, play the climax, 12k, can help Amane get her climax combo off. So yeah, definitely for an R, I definitely like it a lot. Like I said, running mono red, why not run 2 or 3 of these? Next card, 00500 uncommon, loves the extraordinary. Yuki, striker and extraordinary. Continuous, 500 front assist. Auto: when your other characters place their battling characters to reverse, or your battling opponents to reverse. Oh man, I'm just too tired. You may place the top card of your deck to the waiting room. So Yuki, fairly interesting card. She's 500 front assist, which is nice. Her second effect, honestly, is kind of annoying. It's like it's kind of annoying for the opponent to just deal with, like, let's say I'm the Schoolgirl Striker player. Attack, kill something. Let me think. Okay, I'll mill. Second attack. Let me think. No mill. Third attack, I kill something. Cool, let me think. no mill. You know, it's just kind of annoying to deal with, like, every attack. It's just like, oh man, come on. But still, honestly, the third attack is very, like, hit or miss. You kind of have to use, like, I don't know, it's very wonky. Uh, I would say just run a better assist. Like, she's pretty much a 500 front vanilla assist with the wonky second effect that mills only when you kill something. But which, you know, is practical. You're probably going to be killing at least something every turn. But still, I would say just run an assist with more impact than this weird milling. Because, you know, the milling is nice. Like, if you're out of climaxes, then her milling ability is very awesome. But, like, if you're not compressed, or if you are, like, compressed, or if you're not completely climax screwed, then her second effect can be dangerous for yourself. Like, if you choose to mill and you mill a climax, it's like, oh yeah, you don't mill the climax, but you know, like, let's say you attack, you mill, you hit a climax, you attack, you trigger a climax, and then you mill another climax, and you attack with the third character, you trigger a climax, and like you mill a climax. You know, not always gonna, you know, that's like the way extreme bad, but it can happen. Like, it might force you to lose more climaxes than you normally would, and that's not good. So this Yuki can screw you over too. So, you know, I would just say run something more consistent with more impact. You know, a prime example, this Yuki, pretty good card, or this Aoi, pretty good card. But you know, that's in blue. This is in red. I'm sure red will get a better assist than this. Next thing, or lastly, to end things off, pretty not very excitingly, 2/2 8K common, middle of the relaxing sea, Yuki, striker, and extraordinary, continuous. Experience. If you have experience 5 or greater, she gets plus 1500 power, which is pretty easy to accomplish by level 2. Auto. If you win this play from high to stage, you have 4 more strikers. You gain a blind stock. Once again, let you guys know me. 2/2s, not my thing. This one definitely not that good. 2295 if you have experience 5 or greater, which is, like I said, very easy to accomplish, but still, once played for hand to stage, you have 4 or more other striker characters, you gain a blind stock. So, it's like a 2195 essentially. But like I said with Monogatari, blind stock is not that good. You know, blind stock very dangerous if you hit a climax and you don't pay it out. You just leave that blind stock in there, and like in the late game, it might screw you in the ass because you have that climax just stuck in your stock thanks to this blind stock you got from the Yuki. Not very good. So honestly, like, why play a 2295 that gains you a blind stock that might screw you over when you can play like a 3295 that salvages you on play and has an awesome climax combo, and because of that, she scales very well into the late game. Unlike this Yuki, that can potentially screw you over, has the same 9.5 base power, and scales poorly into the late game. You know, like, there's no contest. Just run this Amane. You know, of course, the only benefit this Yuki has over this Amane is getting past anti-change backups. But still, it's not good enough. Just don't run this card. It's only common, you know, for a good reason. And that is all for this week. How long is this video now? We are at 1 hour and 33 minutes, which is, you know, average. But overall, this is the final week for Puyo, Booster, and Trial Deck. And as a whole, Puyo does seem like a very interesting and fun set. For competitive and for fun, they have a lot of fun things going on with, like, the yellow Puyo, the red Puyo, the green Puyo, the blue Puyo, and the busted, broken purple Puyo. So a lot of fun things going on for just like your casual play. Competitively, they do have some very strong cards. Very, you know, prime example. This card right here. So they do. I do think Puyo can be competitive, and it has a lot of fun things going on. I know this is very late, and I do apologize if you're like looking to buy into Puyo and you're hoping my reviews would help you decide if you want to buy Puyo. Once again, I do apologize for being very late, but still, in the end, I do think Puyo is a very solid set, both casually and for competitively. I think it's a fun set. I'm personally not a fan of the art, but you know, I more prefer my Moe girls, as you guys can see with my Nisekoi, my Love Live deck. But still, overall, I think it's a lot of fun. Oh, I almost forgot to review every card. This card very good. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. Sasa, I like the idea behind it a lot, but I'm sure it'll be overshadowed. Haruka, don't run it. Amane, Ninoda, very good for a common uncommon, but I'm sure will be overshadowed. Itsumi, I would say just don't run it. Amane, I really like this card. I just think it's super. She's hot, and it's cool, and the art's nice. So I like it a lot. I think it's super awesome. But I'm pretty biased. Sasa, solid card. Haruka, don't run it. Ninoda, definitely don't run this one. Isumi, don't run it. Bird, don't run it. Frankenstein's, don't run it. Bones, don't run it. Onion, don't run it. Other Onion, don't run it. This seems like something fun you can do, but competitively, don't run it. Lemres, don't run it. Actually, no, Lemres is okay. He's okay. What am I talking about? He's all right. Klug, I like it a lot, but I'm sure he's overshadowed. Icolo, not too shabby. Definitely he's pretty solid. Icolo, not good enough. All clear. Just run something better. Hotaru, pretty solid, but if blue gets a better game ender, you can consider running that. But as of right now, from what we know, it's pretty good. Aoi, I like it. Yui, it's just a flavor card. Yui, pretty solid. If they get something better, that's cool. If not, then this is more playable. Aoyuki just depends on what card she grabs. But as a standalone card, she's pretty solid. Isari, I like it a lot. I think it's pretty cool. Level 1 Suicider, it's not the greatest one in my opinion, but still pretty solid. This Niho, pure flavor. This Aoyuki, running a mono red deck, why the hell not? Has pretty good synergy with Amane. Yuki, not too bad. Actually, what am I talking about? Oh man, I'm just too tired. Don't run it. 2-2 Yuki, don't run it. And that is all for this week. Like I said with Puyo, I think it's a very solid and fun set. If you guys do buy it, let me know how the set works out for you guys. Yeah, Schoolgirl Strikers, more to come. We got a lot more weeks for Schoolgirl Strikers. We got 1, 2, 3 more weeks for Schoolgirl Strikers. Like I said in the very beginning, I know I'm very far behind in Leaks of the Week, but I just been working way too much this week. Or this week I worked a lot, but next week I don't have that many days to work, so I really, really do want to catch up. I want to catch up with Schoolgirl Strikers. I think it's a really cool set, but I really do want to catch up with the power-up sets, being both Clannad and Lock Horizon. Definitely Lock Horizon, I think it's really cool. But also, I really want to catch up with Too Low for Darkness. So be expecting a lot of Leaks of the Week this week, guys, because I really do want to catch up. So that's enough for me. Pretty tired. I might just go to sleep early. I have work again tomorrow, but until next time, guys.